Welcome to Video Goulash. My name is Chance Kelly, and today we are talking about South of Sanity's 2025 Halloween collection. Before I get into that though, I want to wish my brother Virgil a happy birthday. I love you, man, sincerely, and I hope you have an awesome birthday, dude. Let's get into it. So if you don't know, South of Sanity's candles have returned. They are available right now. They dropped this past Monday, August 25th. We're talking some awesome stuff. I'm gonna show you a few. Now I've reviewed these scents before on previous videos. You know, I want to show you guys the awesomeness. One of the best candy corns on the market, if not the best for my money. So much so that I haven't bothered even getting any other candy corn candles at all. Halloween Bonfire is a 3-wick, which you can see I've burned. And it is friggin' amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the best Halloween fragrances of all time. And I'm not kidding. And then Halloween Night. This took my #1 spot in best candles of 2024. Halloween Night is friggin' amazing, and Virgil was kind enough to let me design the label for the candle this year. So yeah, these are all available right now at southofsanitycandles.com. Before we dive into the reviews, I want to let everyone know that VIDGHOUL 1031, you plug that code in at southofsanitycandles.com, you're going to get 10% off your order. This candle drop has been a long time coming, and Virgil put a lot of effort into this. He took his candles away for a while, and now they're back. This drop is a very curated special drop for the candles. Understand the Halloween 2025 line is all available in wax melt form. Everything in candle form is also available in wax melt form. But that candle drop that you're looking at on the website right now, that is a very specially curated drop, and I don't think it's going to stick around forever. So check it out. Check out VIDGHOUL 1031. Get that 10%. First up, I'm going to talk about Pumpkin Fire. Pumpkin Fire is a year 1 South of Sanity scent, and it's available now in candle form in this 2-wick. And it's described as a wonderfully dark and spooky blend with scent notes of pumpkin, smoky sweet wood, and oud. So those notes are just blended to absolute perfection. It gives you this kind of creamy, velvety, smooth, pumpkin-centered fragrance where you've got this sweet wood kind of wriggling around in the smoky essence of it. And the smoke is kind of vaporous. This candle has this awesome ability that it feels natural. It feels raw and kind of outdoors and natural, but just a hint of pumpkin pie. The oud's resinous deepness brings a dark wood, sap, nectar-like quality to this that allows the pumpkin and that smoky sweet wood to take center stage. This has got a vaporous kind of a smoky hit to it that I'm totally in love with. It also kind of feels like active embers. And that's a note that's like kind of bright and airy. It lends to that outdoor type of quality. Fire is the apt word in Pumpkin Fire. Don't get me wrong, it is a pumpkin-centered fragrance, but that's like an active fire note. It's not super smoky, but the smokiness is like the vaporous active smoke, if you get what I'm saying. It's not like a heavy smoke scent. There's something really special about this scent. I can see why it's a year 1 that has not gone away. That is one of the most popular fragrances from South of Sanity candles. For my money, it's probably one of my favorite pumpkin-centered fragrances ever, and I would say one of the best. Autumnal? Absolutely, this is a 5. There's no question that this is an autumnal fragrance. Halloween? Yeah, I'm also going to give it a 5. It feels very particularly Halloween. I'm not really sure how something that has pumpkin and kind of a fire scent could lean Thanksgiving, but not this one. I think it's the oud and some of the magic in that, I don't know, but this feels very Halloween to me. Chills? I'm going to give it 3. It's kind of what you bring with you, you know, into into the ambiance of this fragrance, what you bring with you in your imagination. To me, it reminds me of sitting around the fire, telling spooky stories at like peak autumn, peak Halloween. My Ghoul grade on this is 5. This is a 5 right out of the gate. This is kind of like the flip side of the coin to Halloween Bonfire. This is like the active fire that was put out to create Halloween Bonfire. And I love both. So let's get into the new fragrances that are the Halloween 2025 line. First up, let's talk about Pumpkin Spice Latte. The notes are fresh coffee, pumpkin spices, and nutmeg. What I love about this is like a steaming, hot, black, fresh cup of coffee. I can almost feel the heat coming off of it. And it also gives me like a fresh coffee grounds vibe. The pumpkin spice in here is like the raw, natural pumpkin spice form. It's not frou-frou. It's not super sweet or anything. Yeah, I mean, this is technically a gourmand scent, but the spices, and especially the nutmeg in here, which is gorgeous, is a raw, natural form of nutmeg, like high end. The thing I love about this is that I'm not the coffee scent guy. This is not even in my lane, and I'm absolutely in love with this one. He's got one also called the Devil's Coffee, which is amazing. That one's just a flat out coffee scent that has that dark, rich, robust kind of vibe, and it has that kind of fresh coffee grounds vibe. So this is very much coffee forward with the pumpkin spice and the nutmeg. It's not the reverse like you get in a lot of stuff, which makes all the difference here. And then right on the back end, there's almost a smooth creaminess to this. And I'm not really sure where it's coming from, but it's not sweet. It's not cloying. The sweetness in it is it's just at the perfect level of perfection. So autumnal, definitely giving it a 5. It's all the way autumnal. Halloween, that gets a 4 for a Halloween vibe for me, because I can also take this into fall, like late fall, where we got Thanksgiving and leading into Christmas and all that good stuff. Chills, 0. It's a coffee forward scent. I just want to drink it. It's awesome. But you don't want to eat the wax, I promise. You might want to try because of how good this smells, but don't eat the wax. Ghoul grade on Pumpkin Spice Latte. That's a 4. That's a banger scent. Next up is Fall Carnival. You've got salted popcorn, kettle corn, and funnel cake as the notes. That is, I mean, that's such a transportative scent. I'm right there at the carnival. I can hear the sounds. I can see the Ferris wheel. The popcorn notes, perfect. It's perfection. That is a really authentic popcorn note, and the funnel cake brings me just the biggest smile. It's like it's fresh out of the fryer. That's what the funnel cake note is. Fresh out of the fryer. I can even taste the powdered sugar that melts in your mouth, and the crunch of the funnel cake. And when you put it in, it's got the crunchy, gooey, soft bread and the powdered sugar that melts in your mouth. Like, it's all there in Fall Carnival. So this is another one that Virgil let me design the label for, because when we were talking about fragrances, fall carnivals, that's my favorite time to go to the carnival is during fall. And I wanted a carnival type of fragrance. I was working on one called Halloween Ghoulash. But Virgil's he's a master of blending these scents together. And he put this thing together and sent it my way. And I said, more funnel cake. And he was like, I don't know, dude. I'm justified. After smelling this, dude, I'm justified in saying that funnel cake hit is perfection. Virgil, you're a friggin' genius, man. You're a wizard. Fall Carnival is probably one of my all-time favorite scents. And I don't think it's ever been done better than that. Autumnal, I'm gonna shoot that a 3, because carnivals can go summer for some people as well. Summer into fall. So it can hit whatever you want it to hit for a carnival. For me, it's fall. That's when I do most of my going out and hanging out at amusement parks and carnivals and stuff like that. Halloween score, I'm gonna give it I'm going to give it a 3, and that's just based on a very personal thing of there's just so many movies that have amusement parks, carnivals, that are Halloween horror movies. And so I strongly relate carnivals to fall and to Halloween. Chills, I'm going to give it 2 based on that same reasoning of all the horror movies and stuff. I mean, look, like Terrifier 2, Funhouse, the list goes on. I give that 2 chills, but that's totally what you bring with you into it. I think for most people, this is just going to smell like a carnival, so it wouldn't be scary to them at all. Ghoul grade on Fall Carnival. That's a 5 for me. And of course, it gets a ghoul. That is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. So that gets special honors. Yeah, that gets a ghoul. Since we're talking gourmands, let's talk about Cranberry Pumpkin. Cranberry Pumpkin, the notes are tart cranberry, pumpkin, oak wood, and vanilla bean. It's fluffy and smooth. I get the cranberry first, and it's nice and tart, but it's smooth and creamy mixing with that pumpkin. It's a really authentic pumpkin note, like pumpkin meat, and it's mixed with the oak wood, which very much grounds this, but is also not super prevalent. It's there in the back, lifting everything else up. And then you've got that vanilla bean, that beautiful creamy vanilla bean. That's a natural, very natural smell. Again, this is an authentic type of smell. That's what I like about South of Sanity's gourmand scents. None of them smell artificial at all. They smell authentic and real. But this mix in particular reminds me of late fall. Thanksgiving evokes that time, that chill in the air, where all the leaves are almost off the trees and you're thinking about Christmas and getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving. And this actually reminds me of a very specific memory of being at my grandfather's house and being outside in the front yard while Thanksgiving was going on inside, being made while we were waiting for the dinner bell. And I'm outside, but I'm smelling, the pumpkin pie and the cranberry and the turkey, and I'm tossing the football around, and the cool breeze is hitting me, the chilly wind, and I've got that oak wood kind of feel to it. This is such a really cool fragrance, really interesting gourmand fragrance, and I haven't smelled anything quite like this at all. There's a lot of attempts at mixing these things together to get this vibe, but this one is wholly different than many of the things I've smelled anyway. So autumnal-wise, though, I'm going to give it a 4, actually, because I think that there will be some people that could relate this to Christmas, which I could understand. This is more of a Thanksgiving scent to me, a fall Thanksgiving scent, but I'll give it a 4 because you could go into Christmas with this, no question. Although it has no, to me at least, it has no Christmas vibes. That's pure Thanksgiving, late fall to me. Halloween, seasonal vibes, I'm going to give it 1 on Halloween. When I smell this, I think about the fact that Halloween has just passed, and you're a little bummed about it. But it evokes Halloween in a strange way for me, so I'm going to give it 1 on that. Chills? No, 0. It's not that kind of a fragrance. This is different, nostalgic, cozy, evocative of a very specific area of autumn that doesn't have anything to do with me. It's spooky. My ghoul grade on pumpkin cranberry, 3. It's really good, man. That's awesome. This is the one Virgil sent to me last year, and he didn't want to put it out last year. It kind of came late. I was like, you have to put this out, though. It's so good. Yeah, definitely a 3. It's fantastic. Next up is Goth. The notes on Goth are leather, clove, and smoky firewood. Imagine like an old leather jacket sitting by a fireplace, or a dungeon type thing. You know what I'm saying. This is the perfect, deep, dark, leather-centered fragrance. This is a leather fragrance. Leather is the centerpiece here. And it's not like a dry, it's not dusty, right? It's not like a dusty, old, cracked leather. This is like a perfectly pliable, tanned hide leather that's been through all the processes and sub-processes. It's perfectly oiled. and it's nice and dark and rich and authentic, and it's a perfect leather note, and that clove in there gives this crackle pop. And clove has that natural smokiness to it, but you end that off with that smoked firewood. Yeah, that smoked firewood scent, and I'm talking like this is like an inactive, to me, this is an inactive piece of firewood that's been charred like one step away from ash. It is as black and charred and dark as it gets, but it's like an inactive log, so you get all that smoky depth in there that's elevating this fragrance. Yeah, Goth is Goth's awesome. Now, autumnal wise, no, it's a 0. I year round going with this scent. So Halloween, yeah, also 0 seasonally. This is for me year round. Chills wise, I'll give it a 1, just because I think for a lot of people this will be a dark type of scent to a lot of people. For me, it's just sort of my my running speed. Cool grade on Goth. 3.5. This is an awesome fragrance. I like to just kind of have this going just in general sometimes. I just love the vibe of it. It's dark and it's a little sexy. So yeah, Goth, that's awesome. Up next, Graveyard Nights. This is Tombstone Moss, Sweet Patchouli, Woods, and Amber. It's sweet and sultry, evocative. It's definitely a rendezvous in a graveyard with a very sexy, libidinous woman. And it's got this kind of sweet patchouli nectar that, you know, it evokes this rendezvous in the dirt and the grass in a graveyard. I love the sweet patchouli nectar type of vibe that this has. The tombstone moss is awesome. The stone is very prevalent in the moss note there. It's got a deep resonance to it. And then there's like a green note that floats across the top. It's very grounded kind of a fragrance for as sweet and sexy as it is. A very outdoor campestral. This is like a cold feeling fragrance, like you're outside in the cold. And for some reason, there's almost like a wool note to me, like clothes that you're probably taking off and getting very chilly, but getting very hot. The overall effect is smooth and kind of creamy, silky, velvety, but also has an element of dirt and grass and woods and stone. I love the stone in here as well, and the moss. It's very grounded on the lower end for as much as it has the higher end of the sweet. I think this is a really unique and interesting fragrance. And I'm loving the kind of collision of concept and outdoor vibes for me. And it's definitely got some spook to it as well. Autumnal wise, this is a 2 for me, I think. Yeah, I would melt this year round. This is more of like a general horror fragrance to me, but it does lend itself to colder weather. Like I said, it has a evocative, chilly feeling to it. So I'll give it a 2 for autumnal. Halloween, I'm going to give it a 3 because it does have this creepy cold weather element of getting with a woman in a graveyard. Because I'm like thinking about Phantasm for some reason, which is not... was not a real pleasant experience for that dude. So chills wise, I'm gonna give that a 3, just based on, I think there's some lurking terror and fear in here. Although it's so nice, it's such a nice smelling fragrance, but it has that hint. So I'm gonna give it a 3. Yeah. My ghoul grade on this, 3.5. I'm a big fan of this one, actually. I've melted quite a few of these, so I probably need a backup. Next up, Abduction. Notes on this are forest floor, redwood, stainless steel, and blood. And this is a very conceptual fragrance based on exactly what it tells you. An alien abduction, and a very specific one. I know Virgil was talking about fire in the sky when he developed this. This is such a conceptual fragrance where the concept and the execution of that concept is the star here. Now, whether you want the abductor to be some kind of interdimensional type of alien or extraterrestrial alien or somebody snatching someone up in a van to murder them, like Black Phone style. This works on all of those levels. Again, I know this was specifically the idea in mind was Fire in the Sky, hence the redwood and all that. And when you smell this fragrance, you get this gorgeous redwood. I mean, you get the bark, you get the forest floor detritus, you get this kind of full-on redwood trunk. And, you know, I can smell the bracken, like it almost smells like there's fern in here. But then there's this sharp surgical steel and this oozing blood note. It's like fresh blood with a little bit of congealed blood hanging around in there too. And that surgical steel note is, that's something. Yeah, that's something. So I think I said this on the live when Virgil unveiled the 2025 line, is that this kind of reminds me of Carnage, but it's not literal. This reminds me of Carnage spiritually, because this is a concept that's way outside of the box, and it's executed with perfection and turns out better than you could ever imagine. It's also something I think is maybe for a niche group of people who are into something that's scary as hell. This is definitely a spooky scent, and it delivers on that. But that comparison is only like a spiritual thing of doing something really outside of the box and just nailing it. There's something really interesting too about the way that these notes blend together that's evocative of like charged ozone in the air, which is, you know, obviously perfect for the concept of this candle. But first and foremost, this is an outdoor feeling scent for sure. I think at its heart, this is an outdoors type of scent that's evocative of like the New Mexico hill country. And that's where Fire in the Sky actually took place. And I think people will find all kinds of vibes here. It's going to be totally subjective to the experience of whoever smells this and what they bring with them. But objectively, it's an outdoor centered scent that leans hard into the concept. And with that blood and stainless steel, it's equally spooky as hell and equally pleasant. Abduction absolutely has this kind of surgical type leaning clinical quality to it. And part of it that has that sterilized steel note and the blood, which is just, it's gross, but it's amazing. So look, I guarantee this is not for everyone, but if you're in this niche, this might be one of your favorite things. Autumnal wise, no, this is no score for autumnal and no score for Halloween. This is a horror candle, and it's scary as hell. Chills, this gets a 5. And my ghoul grade on Abduction, I've burned this a lot. I get something a little different out of it every time, but every time I love it. That's a 5. And that gets a ghoul. That's a really special fragrance. Let's talk about Haunted House. The notes on Haunted House are smoked cedar, damp earth, moss, oud, musk, and gravestones. So no surprise, I love this fragrance. This feels like the culmination of some of South of Sanity's scents. It reminds me of Kringle's Cemetery Lane, which is one of my favorite candles as well. On the website, Virgil says it's got this old rain-soaked kind of quality of a wooden house that's haunted and breaking down, subject to the elements. And that's exactly what you get. The smoked cedar wood and the damp earth, to me, are out front with some of the moss. It tells you right away that this is a place that has been left alone. The elements have come in. The broken windows, the rotten wood planks, all that's coming in. And you've got this musk and the oud in here and the gravestones. It really finishes the picture. And it sets you right inside of this place. I can see the moth-eaten curtains. I can feel the vibe of the air, you know, that's charged with something. The dusty, musty quality, the old furniture, the stone fireplace that sits cold and dark, that has blackened smoke residue from ages on past that still permeates it. All of that comes through in Haunted House. And I love that fresh, moist dirt kind of thing that it does. I can even hear like a storm rumbling outside as I'm standing in this place. Autumnal, one, I would say it's nothing specifically autumnal. This is a horror candle. But if you relate haunted houses to autumn, sure, it'll take you there. Same with Halloween. It's what you bring with you. If you relate that haunted house vibe to Halloween, sure, you can give it a 1 there. For me, this is a year-round horror candle. Absolute banger. I do think it has a colder weather vibe and a rain-soaked kind of wet vibe with the stone and everything. But at the same time, I'm not feeling seasonal about this at all. Chills is pretty spooky. 4.5. I'll give it 4.5 chills. Ghoul grade. I love Haunted House. 4.5. That is a almost perfect experience. It might end up a 5 the more time I spend with it. Let's talk about Enchantress. The notes on Enchantress are plum, violet, cedar, toasted clove, leather, patchouli, and cinnamon. It's soft and haunting and complex. I get the violet first. I get hit with the violet and maybe the plum, like a darker plum with a wood in this. And then the leather is there, kind of the carrier for the whole thing. But I don't know, like if you're not into leather fragrances, you still might really dig this, because the blend is what's incredible about Enchantress. You've got all of these notes that I could sit here and talk to you about all the notes. The raw cinnamon way in the back, the toasted, it feels like a smoked clove, like a dark smoked clove back there. And this really soft, kind of sexy patchouli. It's a very soft and airy, light type of incense note. But it's the blend all together. I think this is a violet starring fragrance, and everything else helps the violet. But it helps it create a vibe that is really witchy, a little sexy, a little sultry, but esoteric. It's not a super sweet fragrance at all. It's more of a vaporous, kind of menacing, sensual type of scent that almost like a dark perfume on the air, but it doesn't have such a perfume quality. It's that violet. It's almost like walking around in a graveyard or an old dark funeral home. I think it's alluring, and fans of that are into like dark violet, dark, esoteric, witchy type of fragrances. This is for you. Enchantress is for you. Autumnal, there's something about this that is very autumnal to me, so I'm going to give it a 4. Halloween, this has got a vibe of Halloween to me. Maybe it's the witchy thing. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. Yeah. Chills wise, this is creepy. This gets a 4 from me. I think this is a pretty creepy fragrance, as pleasant as it is. My Ghoul grade on that, that's a 3. That's excellent. I like Enchantress. What a vibe. What a vibe. I like the dark floral thing too, so yeah. Let's talk about Dead Night Video. The notes on Dead Night Video are VHS tapes, vinyl, musty carpet, and petrichor. So Dead Night Video was actually a concept of mine. This is my original notepad for it. You can kind of read some of the note ideas that I had. The idea for Dead Night Video was I wanted to be set inside of a haunted video store. A store that's like a haunted house. It's out in the elements. Nature is taken over. The windows are broken. You're standing inside. You're smelling the old VHS tapes, the musty carpet. But it's haunted. It's energized with that creepy, evil type of feeling, and you can hear the oncoming storm rumbling in the background. And it's, of course, nighttime, and you're investigating a haunted video store. That was the concept for Dead Night Video, and Virgil is a friggin' genius. He took it and nailed it. And I remember when I first kind of pitched it to him, he's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's going to work. Especially like the notes I pitched him. I don't make candles. I just had an idea, and I threw it his way. And, you know, he's the genius that mixed that thing together. And not only did it nail the idea that I have and evoke it and set me right there inside of that environment, it's an incredibly pleasant smelling candle for me, but creepy. This is definitely a spooky candle. And so it's not unlike candles like Haunted House or, you know, anything like that that has that dirt, creepy, haunted feeling, that petrichor, those vibes. The fact that he brought this into reality with aplomb, I will use the word aplomb. I'll never stop telling him how much of a genius he is, and he could just deal with it. Breaking it down into specific scent notes, when you melt this or burn this, it brightens up just a little bit, and you get a very musty, dusty kind of a vibe with the damp earth in there. You get the vinyl and kind of the old cardboard and the plastic of the VHS tapes in the background, but you get that rotting wood, that aged wood, and a nice hit of ozone and petrichor in there. And all of that is kind of tinged with a little bit of acrid, which is what I wanted. There's a thing called vinegar syndrome. This is the company, you know, Vinegar Syndrome. It's named after this concept, vinegar syndrome. When film and tape degrade, it brings this kind of acrid smell that is a lot like vinegar, and it's called vinegar syndrome. So FYI, if you didn't know what that meant, that's about film degradation. And I wanted that kind of vibe in there too, almost to the point that I was like, hey man, you want to try some, try some actual vinegar in there. But you didn't need it because Virgil knew to mix this together, you're going to get a little hit of that acrid right on the end. It's just perfect. It's the perfect amount of it. I didn't want it taking over the thing, right? What you're left with is a very haunted house kind of feeling, but with the cardboard and the vinyl and that musty carpet that really places you inside a haunted video store. So what do I think about Dead Night Video? Autumnal, like maybe a 3. Again, the haunted house environment, it's not specifically autumnal for me, but it could be for others. Halloween, same. I'm going to give it a 3. For me, this is going to stay out all year. This is a horror candle for me, a very specific concept that's not exactly related to fall or Halloween. The chills level on this, 4.5. This is, to me, this is a pretty dang scary candle. This was the idea anyway. I think this is definitely delivering on the concept of a spooky, scary horror candle. My ghoul grade on Dead Night Video, 5. And it gets a ghoul. Look, I don't care if you think it's pretentious of me to give this a ghoul because it was my concept. I feel pretty separated from this. I'm not the creator of this. It was just an idea. Virgil is the creator of this. And I definitely feel pretty unbiased. I could smell this and go, it's not working, or it's working. And this is legitimately one of my favorite candles that South of Sanity has ever produced. What a vibe that this is carrying with it, and that's 100% on Virgil. So yeah, that's a ghoul, baby. So the perfect way to end things is with the Autumn's End. Applewood, autumn mint, fresh fall air, and woodland. Autumn's End. Based on Pile of Leaves by Goose Creek, which was based on Sweater Weather. It was improved upon by Goose Creek and Pile of Leaves, and then brought into its ultimate final form in South of Sanity's Autumn's End. It's a tough one to describe, and that's because it's the blend, the presence, the vibe that is carried in Autumn's End. That's the real star of it. It's the culmination of all those notes that it's greater than the sum of its parts. We're going to quote Aristotle in a candle review. That's where we're at here with this one. Yeah, it's that damn good. So this is kind of like a chilly fragrance. but it has this warm, cozy embrace. I don't know. It has both. It's heavier on the apple and the apple wood. It's a little more appley than wood, but the wood is definitely strong and it's definitely there. So you've got a ripe, juicy, fully formed apple. To my nose, a Macintosh or a Washington apple. But you have this woodland mix, this wood notes. To me, it's a hardwood note, very evocative of that part of fall when there's hardly any leaves left on the trees, and to me you get the leaves in here as well, dead leaves kind of, and I guess that's in the fresh fall air, which I don't even know what the hell that is, but it's chilly and it does have a very airy quality to it. It's a light kind of a feeling in that note, but cold as well. I think that's due to the mint. The mint gives that nice hint of chill. It kind of haunts the whole thing. And it's way back there. You may not know mint is in this fragrance at all, trying to pick it apart. Again, like the blend here is so good, it's really tough to describe what's exactly going on. You get in the apple and woods and some kind of this airy, kind of cold, chilly vibe. It's the best you can do to describe this kind of a fragrance. It's got an invigorating, kind of crisp bite, but it's also fluffy, outdoor chilly, has no perfumey notes or any cologne notes, any of that aspiration. This is very outdoors, very raw, natural feeling, and just transports you to the end of fall, and it's perfect and kind of sad. And one for the record books. This is one of these fragrances that, why I say South of Sanity is more than just spooky fragrances. Autumnal? 5. I mean, yeah, all the way. Halloween? I'm going to give it a 1 on the Halloween scale. Maybe that's for me because I smelled Goose Creek Pile of Leaves, which is very reminiscent of for the first time in a Halloween order that I had. So that brings that with it, but I'm going to say that this is more of a fully autumn scent that is especially towards autumn's end, of course. Chills, as I said, 0. It's not scary. It's just the perfect mood setter. Makes you want to cozy up with a blanket and sit outside with my girl and watch the sunset in a chilly, chilly autumn. Ghoul grade, 5. And it gets a ghoul. What can I say? I think Virgil knocked it out of the park yet again. Halloween 2025. And look, I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. I'm giving you my actual take on this. Virgil knows when we talk that I do not hold my tongue and I give my opinions. I'm not biased. I connected with Virgil in South of Sanity after I got my first order from him. I watched his YouTube channel. I was like, this guy seems really cool. But when I got that first order from him, I was blown away by his skill set, by his ability to evoke things out of fragrance. I think the guy's awesome. And I think that regardless of whether or not I'm connected to him or he's my friend or anything else, I give my unbiased opinion. So go to southofsanitycandles.com. Check out the Halloween 2025 line. Check out the candle drop. The candles are back. And don't forget, VIDGHOUL 1031. That's going to get you 10% off. I don't get anything out of that. That's just for you guys. I'll be back with heaps more content soon, especially candle content. We got Lunar Light Company's Halloween 2025 line that I'll be talking about. Brass Coffin. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up, including the first episode of Cinewax. Hope to see y'all there. As always, keep it creepy. I'll smell you later.